Hey, what's going on? It's Instructor Mike. A security officer loses his life in Chicago while trying to enforce the policies and procedures and the rules at a local movie theater. When is it going to stop? Did the security officer do too much? Did he listen to wise counsel? Or was he really doing his job and things just got astray? This is a sad story, and given that I'm a security instructor and trainer, I feel the need to talk about it. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Instructor Mike after this. What's going on, you? This is Instructor Mike. You can follow me on Facebook at Mike Brown or Instructor Mike. Follow me on.
It could be you as a citizen, and you walked up and you see somebody. It look heavy? I don't know. Create special, that must be. But it's good to know that this can handle the high pressure rounds of the flooding. Ready to go.
Make eye contact with me. He's still trying to get it open a couple of times.
So chill.
All right, without delay, let's go ahead and get into it. But first, let's take a moment to thank our sponsor, whataitellmyselffirst.com. Whataitellmyselffirst.com, children's real-world affirmations of self-esteem. If you are interested in children's books that are designed to uplift and encourage the youth of today and your children of today with things like I Like Me, Not Everyone Else Has to Like Me, That's Okay, I Like Me, as well as a whole host of other books written by yours truly. And if you really want to support the channel, there's books such as telling yourself about self-protection and about talent. And, don't just do for your children, but actually teach your children. Let's inspire the future, teaching them about patience and what that word no means. Understanding my Black Life Matters, not the Black Lives Matter movement. If that's what you're into, that's cool. But a band of children banding together to put their lives first when everybody else will ignore them. We have to teach the children to empower themselves. Things like stay on track and how about now, understanding about traffic stops and what could occur on traffic stops, as well as responsibility. Whose fault? Not mine. A whole host of books at MikeBrownsBooks.com, MikeBrownsBooks.com. This is a very, very sad story, a very sad story indeed, about a security officer, Jackie Fisher, who went to work and prided himself on actually going to work and doing his job. But what are some lessons that we can learn in this given situation? What are those lessons that we can learn? Only from CBS2.com, CBS2.com. By the way, this video is being used in accordance with Title 17, United States Code, Section 107, which is the U.S. copyright law, allowing us to be able to use this video for educational purposes and criticism, as well as teaching. Without further delay, let's go ahead and get into it.
Now, only on 2, we're learning a security guard died just blocks away the day before.
Sabrina Franza is here. Sabrina, you spoke to his wife, who just wants to know what happened.
Jackie Fisher loved being a security guard, and his wife loved that about him. But Saturday was their 22nd wedding anniversary. She says she begged him to take off work, and he didn't. That was the last time that she saw him alive.
That day we went bowling on our anniversary, and he said to me he had to go home and get his clothes so he can go to work. And the last thing I remember, him going out that door and turned around and just looked at me. And that was it.
Barbara Fisher worried about her husband every time he left for work at the Showplace Icon Theater in the South Loop.
But he loved the job, and whenever they called him, whatever shift it was, he just went.
Recently, she says, his work became more and more dangerous. Fisher was beaten back in February for enforcing the theater's new rules. No guests under the age of 17 can enter without a parent or guardian after 6 p.m. It's a rule a staff member tells CBS 2 began after they saw an increase in disruptive young adults at that location.
I said, this is what you need to do. Go to work and just leave the teenagers alone. He said, but I can't do that because I'm getting paid and not doing my job. So it costed him his life.
Saturday, police sources say a group of teens visited the theater. 72-year-old Fisher was again doing his job. He tried to escort them away. He suffered some sort of medical episode and was taken to the hospital where he later died. The medical examiner has not released the official cause of his death.
So it's devastating.
Staff at the theater was not able to speak to us on camera. We've contacted their corporate office for a response to this. We've also reached out to Chicago police to see if there's been any arrests or movement in either of these attacks. There has not been. In the news.
Bowling on IL.
So let's go on ahead and dive into this. First of all, thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Jackie Fisher and to his wife, Barbara. I believe that was her name, Barbara Fisher. She gave some wise advice, but he did not listen. And I know some people may comment and sit here and say, well, men don't ever listen to the wives when the wives say anything. For some people, that is the case. I don't think that was the case for Mr. Fisher. I think when you look at things, I say the same thing too as a security trainer, that don't let the job talk you into doing something that they will not suffer the consequences for. Does that make sense? They won't suffer the consequences for it, but they'll talk you into doing that thing, right? And granted, I'm not going to blame it on the company because the company didn't necessarily talk him into doing that. It was his work ethic, right? I feel like if I go to work and I just leave the teens alone, I would be getting paid and not doing my job. I understand that. But there has to be a healthy balance that you have to strike, just like the police in certain cases, between living and preserving your life and doing your job safely. And unfortunately, he did lose his life over that. The next thing I do want to address is what causes a person to put work over family? When you hear certain songs like "Gotta Have a J.O.B. if you want to be with me," nothing going on but the rent, right? A broke man is like a broke hand, and all of those other cultural songs, right? And I'm going to stick to Black culture, right? Because I'm a part of that culture. I'm not a part of that culture, but I'm within that racial cohort, right? And I'm not a part of that culture. You will never really be what you need to be until you divorce yourself from toxic things, including a culture that promotes anti-family. And all the other music and all the other things that we hear over and over and over and over again that tends to devalue who you are as a person and let the work be in addition to who you are. Let the other things that you align yourself with be in addition to who you are. That you don't make work your identity. That workaholism doesn't become a thing. And I'm a workaholic. I'm a self-admitted workaholic, right? What does workaholism do for you? What does workaholism do for certain people? He could have been a workaholic. And culture and upbringing, right, could constantly reinforce those cultural toxic traits, those societal toxic traits that choose to cause you to devalue yourself or place yourself in the box that your value of who you are is based upon whether or not you have a job. That I have to go, I have to keep going no matter what. Granted, family is important. It absolutely is important. But so too, right? Family is important. Work is important. But family matters. Those of y'all who heard me talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you heard me show you the chart before, right? Of how you've got 5 levels: physiological, you've got security, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization, right? Family is at the security needs. Family is at the love and belonging before we even get to self-esteem, before we even get to how you feel about you. These things matter. And so if you are a workaholic, I get it, because sometimes people are hard to rely on, but your work, especially if you love what he's doing, what you do. And by all accounts, it appears that Mr. Jackie Fisher loved being a security guard, just like I love teaching security officers. I love serving people. But sometimes that service of people really is in the place of what we need to heal within ourselves. that would make the ears that you need to have possible, so that when your wife of 20 plus years says, don't go into work, let's have fun, let's blah, 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 let's enjoy this, you decide to say, okay, because family really matters. And I'm not saying his wife, in fairness, I'm not saying his wife put that on him, that he had no value unless he worked. I don't know that to be true. I'm not going to say she did that, but the culture definitely does that. Sound off in the comments. What do you think? Right? Society allows, what culture approves, for the family to teach what you will do or execute. I'll say that again. Society allows, what culture will approve, for the family to teach what inevitably you will do. Are you a workaholic because the family taught you that your value is primarily in your work and not in who you are? Do you come from a family where all they did was work and they discarded those who didn't have careers or jobs or did anything? Did they value you for who you are? This is important. This is Instructor Mike. You've been trained. Sound off in the comments. What do you think about this? What do you think about this story? What do you think about what I said? If you agree or disagree, I appreciate your comments either way. This is Instructor Mike. You have been trained. Until the next time, I'll see you.
What's going on, you? This is Instructor Mike. You can follow me on Facebook at Mike Brown or Instructor Mike. Follow me
It
on
could be you as a citizen, and you walked up and you see somebody.
Look heavy? I don't know.
Create special, that must be. But it's good to know that this can handle the high pressure rounds of the flooding.
Ready to go.
Make eye contact with me. He's still trying to get it open a couple of times.
So, Taylor.